Oh, nice. The Mass Effect trilogy is only $6 right now. I don't think I have it on Steam, so I've got to add it to the collection. Alright. Done. Let's see how many games I've got. Ah! 1,000! Neat. What's going on, everybody? My name's Lucas, and as you can see, over the past 10.4 years, I've accumulated over 1,000 games on Steam alone. Now you might be asking, Lucas, my man, how in the world do you find all the time to play all of these games? Well, let me tell you, I don't. There's like way too many games. What, are you out of your mind? But that all changes starting today. Yes, dear viewer, I'm challenging myself to try every single game in my Steam library, and I'll be documenting it all right here. I'll be keeping up with a spreadsheet, taking notes, and determining what's really worth coming back to in this massive backlog. So I hope you'll join me on this journey, and without further ado, let's jump into our first set of games. Alright, so first up we have 100 Hidden Turtles. This one's a short and relaxing hidden object game where the goal is simple. Find 100 hidden turtles. Look, there's one now. I really enjoyed this one. It only took about 20 minutes to complete, the music was great, and the art was a joy to take in. It was such a pleasant experience that when I was done, I went ahead and bought pretty much all of this developer's other X-hidden whatever games, since they were all on sale for only a few cents each. I will definitely be playing these from time to time when I want a short, relaxing, art viewing experience. 10 turtles out of 10. Moving on, we have 1954 Alcatraz, a decent point-and-click adventure game, though it starts off a little rough, and the writing can be somewhat hit or miss at times. I enjoyed this game, but it lacked polish. For example, the game doesn't tell you that you can right-click to examine things, and I didn't realize I could do that until about halfway through the game when doing so is required to progress. I just didn't know that it was possible. It's worth finishing, and there are multiple things that can play out slightly differently from playthrough to playthrough, so I may play it again someday. It is pretty rare to see a game focusing on beat generation counterculture, though the term beatnik wasn't actually coined until 1958, but who cares. Unfortunately, achievements stopped working about halfway through the game. I assume this has to do with the fact that I started playing the game on my Windows 10 laptop and finished on my Windows 11 PC, but regardless, I give this game 6.5 beats per nick.
I know I've been bad, but let me make it up to you, okay?
Next up we have 1990X, a game without mechanics. This subtitle makes no sense. This game's kinda strange. For instance, you hear this music, right? Yeah, that's not a mistake, that's the vibe they're going for. This game is all about the main character knowing you're controlling her movements and working with her to figure out what's going on. The game starts off pretty slow and can be fairly tedious. However, the game is weird enough and just creative enough to keep me playing. The game is only a few hours long, and it still feels like it drags a bit at times. It was obviously made by someone with little experience because it breaks a lot of fundamental game design conventions. Like, for instance, when you walk up through a door, naturally, you should be oriented in the same direction when you get to the next screen. In this game, however, you'll often end up facing the wrong direction. The game ends up hitting you with some emotional scenes, and it left me feeling guilty for ever stopping playing. Damn it. In all, I think this game thinks itself to be a lot more philosophically significant than it actually is. I doubt I'll come back to this one, but it's alright. 5.5 out of 10. Coincidentally, game number 4 in the series is 4D Minesweeper. This game was confusing at first because it came with absolutely no instructions, just like regular Minesweeper, but once you learn the rules through trial and error, it's fairly engaging. Not much to say here. It's an interesting take on Minesweeper, and it's a decent little time-killer puzzle game. I'd play it from time to time, and I'll give it a 10 minus 4D mines out of 30 over 3D. Next is... oh no. It's here. The Reaper of Time. Run! Don't let it get its grip on you. It's adventure capitalist. Dear God, help me! I can't stop clicking. This is the most addicting game ever made. For some reason. This game is a black hole of time. You start playing, you'll never stop. You'll never stop. It's terrible and wonderful, and I must resist its siren call.
Most indubitably, good chap. I do say I give this game $1 vigintillion out of 10.
Seriously, the only reason I stopped playing Adventure Capitalist that day was because my power went out. It is now a different day. And next we have Adventurer Manager, a pleasant little indie management / turn-based RPG. This one's fairly well designed, with a lot of systems and decent tutorials. The game is charming, but a little grind-focused, and grind doesn't usually do it for me. But I do like this game, and I could see how it could be really addictive for the right type of person. For me, it's fun in very short bursts, but I think I'd be a lot more into it if it had a more in-depth storyline. As it stands, it's not super memorable, but it's not bad. I'd give it a 6 out of 10. The next game is Age of Empires, an RTS classic. I cannot tell you how many hours I spent playing this as a kid. Mainly because I was a kid and I didn't keep hourly logs of any specific game that I played at the time. But if I had to estimate, probably around 100 hours, maybe more. This game is amazing. I particularly enjoyed the Greek campaign when I was younger, and I love how the series teaches you a little bit about history as you play. It really made me curious to learn more about the cultures I was playing as when I was younger. This game holds up very well today, and I never have a bad time when I play it. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 here, but only because I know the games that come after it are just as good, but with added gameplay features and presentation. Age of Empires 2. This one took everything that was great about the first game and turned it up a notch. The gameplay is even deeper here, and the presentation is much better. There's voice acting in campaign missions now, and even greater mission variety. However much time I spent playing the first game, you could probably double that to figure out how much time I've spent playing Age of Empires 2 on the original disc. Not to mention, this game has had an amazing amount of support over the year, which I never expected. This game was originally released in 1999, then re-released in 2013 with all new campaigns, then fully remastered in 2019. And that definitive edition is still receiving major official expansions as of 2024. This game still feels great to play, no matter what version you play. 9 out of 10. And on to Age of Empires 3. This one has a much more character-driven approach than the other games in the series, and it leans even further into historical fiction. I didn't play this one quite as much because when it came out in 2005, my computer couldn't run it smoothly, if at all. Now, however, I think this is a really solid game, and I would very much like to finish it at some point. I've played through Act 1 of the first campaign, and I had a great time with it. The presentation reminded me a lot of Age of Mythology, which we'll get to soon enough. I liked some of the new mechanics, such as the Home City, which allows you to build a deck of bonuses that you can have sent to you at various points during the game. You can also customize your home city in between missions as you gain experience in the overall game, which I thought was a nice way of connecting you to that mechanic in a more meaningful way. Overall, I could see myself spending a good amount of time in this game. I'll give it another 8 out of 10. Age of Empires 4, the newest in the series, and I'm happy to say that it does not disappoint. This game is amazing. It's simultaneously a return to form for Age of Empires and refreshingly new feeling. Everything flows so well in this game. Features like hotkeys and unit grouping, which have been present in prior games in the series, feel genuinely useful now. I had no idea you could group different units to a numerical key in the prior games until I played this one, since they actually tell you how to do it in the campaign this time. There's a very functional hotkey for just about everything, and that makes me actually use the keyboard, which I never did in the previous games. This game also finally includes high ground advantages and disadvantages in combat, which adds yet another layer of strategic tactical planning. This game feels like you're playing a documentary, and I love that. Before each campaign mission, a live-action cutscene plays, showing the locations of the battles in the present day. Then during the mission, the same lady who narrated the cutscene also narrates the battle as if it were an actual documentary. It is truly one of the most interesting ways I've seen a real-time strategy game presented. Then, after you beat a mission, you unlock even more historically relevant videos, as well as additional written historical context. This game really knows exactly what it is. It's unique, yet familiar, and a truly smooth experience with spectacular presentation. 10 out of 10. Well done. Following that, we have Age of Mythology, one of the best RTS games ever made, with an amazing campaign stretching across 3 major mythological pantheons. It has an excellent storyline and great scenarios level to level. Act 1 starts in Atlantis and Greece and focuses on the Greek pantheon. Then, in Act 2, our heroes find themselves in ancient Egypt, where some mechanics have changed, and the Egyptian pantheon has become the focus. The third act of the game sees our heroes in the frigid north, again with some substantially varied mechanics, which keep the game feeling fresh. Now focusing on Norse mythology, which makes it easily my favorite part of the game. I honestly love how the game changes things up throughout, because it keeps things from feeling too repetitive or tedious. I played this so much when I was younger, and I even dabbled with the level creator. I really enjoyed the story they told here, and how they pretty seamlessly linked the various mythologies to get something quite unique. I haven't gotten to the extended campaigns yet because I'm replaying the base game first, but I'm really excited to see what they've added. Breaking news, I've just been informed that Age of Mythology is getting a remake that's coming out September 4th, 2024, and I am incredibly excited about that. I love this game. 10 Hydra heads out of 10. Next up is Age of Wonders. This one is not actually in the same series, nor is it made by the same developers as the other Age of games we've been discussing, but nonetheless, this game seems to be of pretty high quality. The only issue really being that on modern hardware, this game is prone to inexplicably crashing. It crashed 4 times in the first hour that I played it, and I lost progress every time. Eventually, I ended up having to edit just 3 little hexadecimal values, and it seems to have stopped the game from crashing. The only time it does now is when I click on a different monitor, which can make recording a little bit more tedious, but aside from that, runs fine. This game is really cool though. It feels like a mix between Baldur's Gate 1 and Civilization 3, which is right up my alley. It rewards you for exploration, and there's a lot of different ways you can approach things. I'll definitely want to come back and finish this one. 8 out of 10. Alright, and now we have AI the Somnium Files. I am really enjoying this one so far. It's kind of like a more adult Ace Attorney, but with less litigation and more investigation, mystery, and sci-fi elements. It seems like it's actually doing a branching storyline well, which can be a hard thing to do. I don't want to stop playing this, and I can't wait to play more. My only nitpick is that the driving scenes are a little immersion breaking, due to the static buildings in the distance and the infinite road. It just seems not quite up to the level of polish that everything else is. But overall, oh my gosh, I'm loving it. 9 out of 10 so far. Next is the Albino Hunter, not to be confused with the Albino Hunter. Punctuation. It's hard. This one seems like a fun and humorous fourth-wall-breaking JRPG. It borders on parody of the genre, but it's good enough to be worth playing. Some of the monsters are peaceful, and you can choose not to fight them. I thought this was pretty cute and interesting, because some of these passive creatures are placed in your way, and without fighting them, you can't get the loot behind them. For me, this appeal to my conscience was enough to deter my usual need to open every chest and get every item in a game. So I'm very interested to see if the game does anything else like that. I think when I'm in the mood for an old school JRPG, I'll really enjoy this one. So yeah, I'll come back when I'm in the mood. I'm going to give what I've played so far a 7 out of 10. Our next game is Alchemy Garden, a cute 3D Stardew Valley-like game with crafting and shop mechanics. It's cozy. It needs a bit more in terms of characters to make the game feel more alive. If all you want to do is customize your house to make it feel ever more cozy, then this might drag you in. For me though, it felt a bit insubstantial. Very lacking in the story department. Some people could probably find a lot of joy in this one, but it feels like a little bit of an early access game. Like I said, it's cute. It just didn't do enough for me. 4.5 out of 10. And our final game for today will be Algo Bot. This is an amazing optimization puzzle game. It feels like problem solving for coding because you essentially have to set everything up beforehand, run your code, see what breaks, and fix it if necessary. It was much more interesting than expected, and I will definitely be coming back to finish this one. It's not too difficult, but some of the levels can be a bit challenging to finish with the fewest possible amount of instructions. It's got a decent story which provides good enough reason for the puzzles to be completed. It's an amusing game and I'll definitely be finishing it. I'm giving this one a 9 out of 10. And to be clear about these ratings, I'm mainly basing them on how much I think the game is worth coming back to, as well as how much I personally enjoyed each game. Hence, radically different games will occasionally receive the same rating, even though comparing them side by side would be like comparing apples and bananas. At any rate, that'll do it for this episode. Next time will be a very alien-centric episode, and I'm thinking of doing a few less games per video, maybe going a bit more in depth on each. But for now, let me know in the comments what you thought about this video. Have you played any of the games we've talked about today? Are you planning on playing any? And what do you think about these games? Let me know. Let's start a conversation. As always, remember to like and subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day. I'll see you in the next one.